necessary in to be in that industry.
Yeah, awesome. Great. No, I will talk to you. Well, first let me introduce to you Gianni De Leon, who's a recent graduate, Mauro, of the International Business Program at the School of Business at the University of San Diego. So he graduated last week.
Oh
He's
my
still
God, he's
fresh
still
off the
he's
press.
fresh off the. That's what I'm
Literally
looking for.
took a break for like 2 days and now he's back to work now.
Okay, nice,
Um,
awesome.
So he's been doing, as part of our international business undergraduate program model, all of our students do, they do export plans, they do international marketing research. We have access to a lot of databases at USD for international business research. And of course, as you know, as a part of this grant from through the state of California, this last part of the program, all of our participants are paired with a recent graduate, or as I term, kind of a junior consultant, and they develop an export plan for all of our participants. So this is, it's focused. The per the terms of the grants, it's focused on export. It's an export plan for your company, and one of the important, I would say, things that we want to confirm in the conversation today, in addition to just like learning more, obviously, about your business, is which market you want to focus in on, which I'm assuming is Mexico, but that's ultimately that's up to you to define, or if you need Gianni to help define that. So yeah, it's an export plan, Mauro, and he's going to be working on this from starting. He actually started last week with some training, and he'll be done in the end of July. So you're going to have a fairly fast turnaround, and you will have a complete export plan for the Mexican market in terms of like potential in the industry and competitors and pricing, et cetera. So we're excited to be able to offer that up to you. And now really I just want to hear from you, Mauro. Talk to us more about your business, and we're going to kind of start asking you some more questions if that's okay.
Okay, so let's start. Like you said, right from the beginning, what I do is I provide networking and delivery services to restaurants, customers, or drivers. And one of the right now my focus is sort of like DoorDash, where we connect restaurants with drivers to deliver products. But what we
Okay.
do is very innovative in, in the way that we charge a flat fee to the restaurant and the driver, eliminating all commissions and uncertainties. And we have a smart fee that allows customers to split the cost with up to 10 people. So they end up paying as little as 50 cents. And when they do this, they actually do it because we want to change the way they do business in delivery, because we want to generate better paying jobs by changing the way by how generous they are to the driver. And if they follow our rules, uh, they will get like rewards, like loyalty points to our platform. So, but one of the things that we're gonna be doing here it popped right off the bat is I had a few growers, passion fruit, like just orchards, and they're like, this would be great if you can help us to either transport it to like maybe not the restaurant itself, but like distribution centers. From here, and I live in North County, um,
Mhm.
so Bonsall, Fallbrook, they have like huge agricultural areas, and they do want to do local, but they also want to do like export to like local, like close to Mexico, Tijuana, Ensenada, stuff like that. And on my side of the family, we do also have, the typical um, import of, Mexican goods. Uh, when my family likes to go to Mexico, so they themselves want to know how would they utilize my network to connect and to do the transactions, the connections. We do everything. I mean, from the basic foundation, our business partners upload the menu, price their products, and they go live. Same thing for the driver. They upload the required documentations, and for customers, it's very simple. Now, for this type of branch of our delivery, it would be scheduled. It would be much more rigid, but also allows us to be much more create better, more efficient routing. So that's the name of the game in logistics is how to make your routing as efficient as possible. So we want to take the model that we're using, where we lower the delivery cost for the customer to increase the demand uh, for the product. So it's the reverse of what happens with inflation right now, where political intrusion creates all this artificial shenanigans. With us, we actually want to insulate our users, whether they're restaurants, customers, or drivers, or import exports, and really pay the full price of the product, and at the same time um, lower the cost of it, but do it so in a way that the customer acknowledges and is is the fundamental part of creating a better paying job for the person doing the transporting back and forth.
Okay. So just to make sure so the grant model allows, I'm seeing all of these
Yeah.
different potential applications.
Yep.
The grant is asks us to focus specifically on export. So I guess my question to you would be, so yes, the Mexican market, correct?
Yes.
Mauro, that's right. Okay.
Yep.
So, and then I understand that there's possibilities in both directions, like import as well.
Yes.
For Gianni's purposes, he's going to need to focus on export only because that's kind of like the terms of the
grant.
grant. So who would you want? Do you want him to focus more on the possibility of the app in Mexico in terms of like connecting restaurants to, customers, or do you want to focus more on, this service for buyers of, fruit and TJ and
Yes.
Sonata?
Yes, that
The
is what.
second one?
Yeah, the second one, because the first one we do want to go eventually there, but that might not be on the grant. Um, but yes, being able to like export a lot of produce from like our local markets down towards Mexico.
Okay, so like all perishable.
Yes,
stuff?
I do
Okay.
have other wares, other vendors who have different types of ware. Like what I've created is a delivery app, but within it is it's a marketplace similar to Amazon, any marketplace that you can think of. What we really are doing is we are eliminating the high cost and creating value through the customer. So again, we have to train people how to use this both on our delivery, but on if we branch to this, definitely doing it the same way, because the more customers we have on along a route, the more the lower the cost is. So on a bigger scale, it's the same thing. The difference is that with on demand, it's right now, like within half an hour. It's all about convenience. But with this is much more consistent. Plus, it allows us to schedule way ahead of
Okay.
time. So it gives our drivers the ability to like diversify the type of work that they do. So right now, for example, I have an orchard who wants to send dragon fruit to Tijuana. How can they do that?
Okay.
And then the, pe- the beauty about this too is that we can diversify the type of product if we organize it correctly. So we can expand the efficiency and the value of the route, both for the producer, the receiver, and the person who's doing the actual delivery. So in this regards, what I'm really seeing a lot of is the farms around here in Fallbrook, Bonsall, targeting them first, and then seeing some of my other not restaurants but producers that have like other wares, um, what they would like to do in regards to exporting. I will tell you though, I'm gonna get a lot of people interested in getting imports, especially with the economy that's coming up right now. Oh my God, we can benefit from that.
Sure. That can be another project, Mauro. I
Yep.
promise you.
Yes.
We'll figure out a way to help you with that one too.
Yeah.
But thank you this is super helpful because I really thought it was more focused on the restaurant. So this is okay. So I'm still trying to figure out elements of the business model here, Mauro. So Who's paying for the service then? So like in this hypothetically, it's the
The
farms
customer.
in North County that are paying for to use the service.
Yes, so the farm, the restaurant, or any business will pay a membership fee to our platform.
Okay.
Then the driver itself also pays a membership to our platform. That's actually how what we make our bread and butter from,
The
because
membership
there's
fee.
more drivers than there's restaurants or businesses. There's 6 million drivers and there are 1 million restaurants. Um, and then how it works is that we have to set a different price for this branch of the industry, but right now we charge $5 to deliver on any given route within city limits. But the more people that attached to that route, the delivery fee split. So right now we charge $5 for delivery for an individual order. Two people ordering together, it splits $2.50 all
Uh,
the way up to 10 people. But here is what we do then. We tell the customer and we need to educate them, say, hey, we created this system that is designed to save you money. Now we're going to reward you for tipping the driver much better. Now there's rules. We have like standards. It's like, hey, if it's really short distance, 50 cents, $1. But for long distance routing, like routes, like for example, going from Fallbrook to maybe San Diego, because I get a lot of routes for that. Our customers are willing to tip our drivers. One, because they know that the quality of the work is going to be way higher. Second, they know that that money is going directly to their pocket because we don't take any charge, and it guarantees the quality of the product it arrives, and it creates that relationship. The system is designed to foster that the relationship between the users, because actually that's how you extract the most value out of it. And once you establish that relationship, it's about maintaining that. And on our side, as the software developer and administrator, our goal is to really utilize our revenue for customer acquisition cost and retention. So one of the things that we do too is gonna change the way that people reciprocate for the drivers. We're gonna take 40% of what we earn to utilize it to change people's behavior and change their spending habits. So this is actually one of the things that defends my model on the delivery side that what I'm doing, but it actually it can be done also on a bigger or different industries, because the cost is always there, but unfortunately we have been accustomed to utilizing it on glamour, on big advertising marketing campaigns or individuals. No, the people who need the value of that money is the user, the restaurant, the consumer, the driver. They need to have that money and as much as possible in their pocket, so we can create this system that lowers the cost for the customer. It eliminates the commissions and uncertainty for the restaurants and the drivers, and we utilize our 40% revenue for customer acquisitions, cost, and retention. We think that we're not only going to succeed in breaking, overcoming the hurdles that we have right now, but maybe even create something much more dynamic in within the industry.
And so the value proposition, I get it for the driver, clearly like more money for them, more stable income. And then for both with the local example, so like the orchard and Fallbrook or whatever that wants to sell to a company in Tijuana, for them it's
Way
lower
lower, way lower.
transportation cost.
I mean, the membership
But
cost is
the major reason why it's lower is because they're sharing the shipment cost with another grower. Is that what it?
well, another grower
Okay.
or the number of customers that they have along the route. Now, this is way different because we're like they want to ship uh, truckloads,
Uh,
so it's a little different to carry multiple types of. But for example, if we have a couple 100 pounds of one type of fruit from a farm, and a couple hundred, and they all fit in the truck. But who helps the customer, the driver is the customer, the end result. So if you're selling as a restaurant, as a farm, and you're the customer as a restaurant, then what we do is on value, on time, and on scale. Then what we try to do is find other similar customers that can utilize that same product and
okay.
and link them and say, hey, look, there's another customer, another farm, or another along the route that it's going to the same general area. It doesn't have to be like exact, but through the usage of our app, we're gonna be able to and their history, we're gonna be able to tell what their tendencies are, so what their patterns are, what their needs are, and we can adjust to them. Because the main thing that our system allows us to see, especially once customers learn how to use it, is what happens when it happens, and what do they need for that thing to occur properly. So it is a lot more. It requires less to be less dynamic because again, it requires realistic scheduling. You don't need on-demand 500 pounds of passion fruit or apples or stuff like that.
Mhm.
So this allows us to do something that is very uh, efficient, and it's just about adjusting our costs. So right now we charge, like I said, 365 for the restaurant, uh, $100 a month for the driver, and $5 for the delivery fee for the end user. But with our platform, I think what the cost would be, it would be definitely adjusted based on the distance, the time, and the type of frequency that we have. And again, because we don't take any money aside from what we already charge, it gives the users a great value proposition to start off from the beginning.
Okay. All right. So this is a lot to take in. Gianna, are you getting all this?
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, and I'm sorry. I'm trying to get ready for Friday because I got to pitch. We're gonna try to raise some funds for the San Diego Angel Conference.
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome, Mauro.
it's part of
No,
it.
no, it's
a little
perfect.
bit.
This is a great practice for your pitch, Mauro.
Yeah, it is.
Great practice. So so help us understand. So then, like the buy in terms of the research Gianni's going to do, I want to make sure he's able to add value for you, Mauro. Right. So who are those potential buyers on the Mexico side that you're looking for him to help identify? Is it restaurants? Is it food import? Like who is it exactly?
Food
Like, what
import,
kind of stuff?
mainly food imports. Like the restaurant, I think it would be too much for the driver from this area to drive all the way to San Diego and then distribute. We definitely want to look for like somebody to take on the load and they distribute around.
Oh, okay.
Once we get into Mexico itself, the app penetrates the Mexican market. We might have a different that side of the Mexican and then connect it. But right now, we don't have that ability since
Gotcha.
we're not there yet. Um, so our
Like
drivers,
importer or like wholesaler,
yes,
but
or
because
like
so they have large quantities.
exact large quantities. I actually wanted to see what the large quality qualification would be because, like for example, I have drivers who have 4x4 trucks, F-150s, and they would definitely they do the math. They're like, oh, okay, this makes like I'll be able to make $200 on this route. Da, 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 da. And I already have it scheduled. I already know when to go. Perfect. That's what the drivers really want to do. But until we get to the Mexican market, they just need to go drop off and then come back. Because what we do too is we don't we avoid deadheading. I don't know if you guys know that.
Wait, what's that? What did you say, Mauro?
Deadheading.
I don't know. What's
So
that?
deadheading is when a driver is or a logistic company or anything truck goes and drops off, but then they come back empty.
Oh, right.
So we don't want that. We actually find this is why the import export will be so great for
Oh,
us. Because
gotcha.
when the driver is coming back, I can stock him with Mexican products that I know people are. You have no idea how much candy people want around here from Mexico. Piñatas,
I do actually.
Yeah, So I'm like, we can set schedules and we can create that demand for the user, both on both sides. And again, it's all trying to find a balance of time and but maximizing profits. And again, we do that by charging that membership fee. The restaurant, as soon as they sell $1 that day, they make that money back. Driver, as soon as they earn $3 to $4 that on that day, they make that money back. So it really is about thinking outside of the box and creating a formula that benefits the end users. Because
Okay,
if they
and
do
then
that, they can stay with us.
okay, it's all those pieces are coming together. The business model. Thank you, Mata. I can see that. I get it. I definitely get it. Now help me with I understand this is a service that you're providing, but you definitely, at least for the purposes of Gianni, like in his research, right now the idea is to focus on perishables, like
Yes.
fruits and vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables.
Okay. Like from North County or whatever, like
North
everything
County.
that we have. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, okay, have you already, so help me understand where you at in terms of like your prototype model? Like, is it already up and functioning, or like where are you guys at
Yeah,
with
we have it up and running. It
Okay.
functions for simple orders, individual orders. So for this would work perfectly well too. So we can schedule a big truckload for somebody in Mexico. I have a farm that's will tell them, hey, we have this produce in this time, and we can deliver it at this date. So we can process payments, we can do everything. Where it's missing is all the intricate uh, code for the features of predicting the on-demand. But for scheduling like this, it's ready. If I wanted to, I could switch it over and just focus on export, import, export, because it's so
Okay.
much more um, uh, consistent. With on-demand, it's every day, and you don't know where, what, or how. But with this, it's way better. You're scheduling everything.
Okay. And then talk to me about I mean, I know that they're just transporting across the border, but like technically they're still importing the product, right? So like if you've got a truckload full, like these drivers, for them to like bring the product into Mexico, Mauro, they're still facing like all of the normal challenges of like import and documentation and all the regulatory stuff. Who's managing all of that right now? The driver, or who's
So
managing?
we technically I do through the app, but again since we've been focused solely on demand. So I've been doing some research for the drivers to do what kind of paperwork they're going to be needing. So and also comes to play into what kind of export I'm doing. So although the vast majority, I do have a lot more farms perishables. If the documentation necessary, if you guys can help me expand on that, what is necessary, I could pivot to non-perishables because I know that there are certain requirements depending on what you're exporting and
Mhm.
importing. So one of the things that I will pivot depending on the cost is for for the drivers. The If we help them not only by gathering all this information, we don't charge, collect, or do any of the actual work. They do it, but again, the cost is all on them. But we don't overburden them because we don't charge them more than that $100 a month. What is the cost
Okay.
for exporting right now?
Huh?
What is
I'm
the
sorry.
cost for licensing for exporting, like produce?
It's not so much the cost. I was just like, I mean, I just know that they have to register, if it's over a certain value, they have to register the export into the system. So it's like, it's over that, let's say $1,000. I forget what the exact amount is. It's like about $1,000, $800, something. When it's over that amount of money, they have to like register it in the system with the US government. Like we actually did an export. I think it's 1,500. I can check for you. I haven't
1,500
like
of the total of what's being sent, or the earning of the driver? I'm guessing
no,
it's
this
what
would be
money.
like the commercial value of the
The
merchandise.
commercial value, because I mean, again, it's all about being efficient. So I would definitely would like to learn uh, as many details as I can. um,
Yeah, I mean that's certainly something we can look at. I'm blanking on the exact amount. It's somewhere between like 800 and $1,500, Mato. Basically, like, it's kind of like when I send. I mean, my family's from Mexico, Mato. So like when I send stuff like through the mail, like you don't have to declare it because it's like low value, right?
Even though
But
they
once
took it
it's
out,
over,
is that the minimus thing that Trump just took out?
yeah, basically it's similar to that
Oh, but it's
concept,
not
right?
that
And
one, right?
so, but once you have it over that threshold, Mauro, you're going to have to do all of the paperwork basically. And so that's kind of like, I mean, we certainly can do that as a part of the research, but I was just wondering in that, I mean, you would almost always be over that threshold, I'm imagining, because your whole purpose is like, we want to maximize the capacity of the truck, right? And
Exactly.
so it would be over that, probably under in every shipment it would be over that. And so who would be doing all of that documentation? And honestly, the export documentation is not that big of a deal. I mean, it is what it is, but the export import documentation into Mexico, that's like that could potentially be a little bit trickier, just for fruits and
So
vegetables.
exporting is not too expensive, but importing will be.
Not so much expensive, just the complexity of the
Oh,
paperwork,
complexity.
I would say,
Oh,
Maro.
it's a
Importing,
well.
importing is always harder than exporting. Importer is always harder than exporting. But if you are working with like if you're working with a wholesaler, right, or a distributor, or some sort of intermediary, they're probably going to be already doing those import processes or knowledgeable of those import processes. So that would be a huge value add. Versus like if you're working with an actual restaurant or a chain of restaurants, they're not going to know how to do any of that, and that's going to be
Yeah,
a problem.
yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to check that's something we can look into in detail.
So that's another thing that for the we were doing that already on the driver's side, and actually that's beside the value and the ability to generate more money is the support. Being able to say, right now in San Diego, we know what we need. So it's like get your city license, you can get a DBA and your tax ID, the typical. That's it. But in this regards, the more knowledge you tell me, the more I can put that process into our app. And actually, like you said, right now, something it depends on the how much you're taking. We can tier that. We can say, hey, tomorrow's load that you're taking is 800. So this is what the paperwork's gonna look like. This is what you need to report if they need to report it. Let's say, for example, it's a huge. I do have somebody who drives an 18 wheeler. It's that's the, so I'm like I'll be like, okay, so this is definitely gonna take you over the 800 $1,500. This is
Yeah,
what you're gonna
it's
be.
2,500. I just looked it up.
Hey, perfect.
2,500.
So let's say they do
So
2,500.
no.
Be like, okay, now this is what you need to declare. La 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 la. Because again, the less that a driver has to do, and the more the wheels turning, that's how they make money. That's how we
Yeah,
all make
yeah. No,
money.
I get
Honestly,
it.
that's how we all make money. So being able to do some of the, we're not gonna do the work for them, but in what software does, it allows us to, give them what they need for what they're gonna be doing. Again, because
Okay.
we're due uh, ahead of time scheduling, it gives. I'm really, if I wasn't so much already ingrained in the food on demand, I think would be my system is already designed to go just do this already. I just need to get the paperwork, the type of uh, parameters that the drivers need to abide to when they export, and then just starting increasing the number of businesses that I have on my network that are. I only have two farms right now. Now I have a lot more interest, but I
Right.
haven't focused. My focus has been on restaurants right now. So
Okay, help me understand. I know this is a service, so but I mean ultimately the service is about transporting products that have to cross a border. So
mm,
like if you were to identify like five products, Mauro, like that you see yourself transporting, because part of what Gianni is going to be doing is also looking at just like all of the regulatory stuff of the products that you're going to be moving, right?
uh-huh.
And so even though your business is a service, you're still moving products. So someone's still going to have to comply with all the regulations for the product. So
Yeah.
like where do you like give me your top five? What kinds of
Ah,
I know you said perishables in general, but
perishable like of farm, like any fruits and vegetables. Um, some type of like clothing. We do have clothing that could go out there. Um, let's see. We do have the need for some like hardware, but more like automotive, um, small appliances, quality product that cannot be found in Mexico. That's the stuff that we see a lot, and eventually a lot more food. Like food is gonna be like probably a biggest exporter.
okay, so this one I think the food one is really straightforward model because since it's grown here in San Diego or California, the regulatory issues are more straightforward. With some of the hardware and clothing and stuff, even though it's available here, it isn't actually maybe manufactured here, and so that gets way more complicated with all of the
Oh, okay,
regulatory
okay, okay,
stuff.
okay, 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 okay.
I'm not saying there's not an opportunity there. I don't know, but I want to make sure what Gianni is able to give for you is like immediately actionable. So every Mauro in export import, every product has a code, right? And
Yeah.
every product has a classification code. So you don't have to tell me right now, but if you could tell us like in the next 2 days latest, it would be awesome. Like, give me your top 5 fruits or vegetables that you see yourself moving. And because that will help him look at the regulatory stuff of, strawberries or passion. What are the top 5 that you see? There's like possibilities. The other thing is we can tell you that, Mauro. We can tell you what those 5 are if you want, because we have accesses to databases. Gianni has access to them, of which are the fruits and vegetables that Mexico buys the most of from the United States.
Yes, give me
Focusing on the ones from
avocados,
California.
nopales, chilies. I mean, we need to produce them here, but yeah, you
But
tell
like
me.
what they buy
You
from
tell me.
us,
Yeah,
right?
actually, you
What
tell
they buy
me.
from us.
Yeah, you it better if you tell me, because I would be a lot less research, and you guys already have that information. So
No, yeah, no, we
but
can do it. But so Gianni, ones that are, so we're gonna have to look up like on Trade Map the top 5 that Mexico imports from the US.
And
But
then
then we
North
need to
County.
like cross-reference this ones
Yeah.
that are specifically grown in Southern California.
Exactly. Yeah. I know it's gonna be a wide variety, because I've heard of some like of some products that are high in demand from Mexico, especially from in this area. So, but I'd rather hear from you guys, because I know it's like my information is all over the place, but you guys are the experts at this.
Okay, awesome. All right, I think I got everything. I think I'm understanding everything now. I'm sure more questions are going to come. Gianni,
Please. Has
are
any question you
any
guys have?
questions, Gianni, that you have for Mauro?
Not currently, but should we run through like the export diagnostic now?
Yeah, I will. Mauro, I'm going to take about 15 minutes of your time to just ask you some like general questions.
Okay.
This is a requirement from the grant. Part of what they asked us to do is, before we give all of the clients the research, to do just a brief diagnostic to kind of assess like how ready are you to start this process. And what Gianni is basically going to be doing is going to give you the results of this in the next couple of weeks, and then make some recommendations like, okay, Mauro, you're ready in this aspect, but you still need to develop this, right?
Mhm.
So if you can bear with us a little bit while we ask you some questions,
Sure.
okay?
Sure.
All right, so Gianni, if you want to fill it out, I'm just going to open it up and project it so Mauro can see it.
Perfect.
Hold on. Well, I said I was going to, and then I lost it. One sec. Okay. Oh, I'm so excited for your business. I'm so excited you're going to be in that competition, Mauro. That's awesome.
Well, I'm not doing the competition itself, because I get very nervous, but I am gonna go with try to make a deal on the side. And
Okay, gotcha.
that's actually what my goal was. Everybody, I need to do a lot of explanation, and I only have 5 minutes, so I need to also find the right type of investor for what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah, there's a whole like impact part of your business too, right, Mauro? Like, I mean, I'm just saying, obviously I see the cost benefits, but the benefits for the driver and the benefits for the environment as well, right?
Oh my
Like, you're
God,
not-
yes. Thank you so much for seeing that. Like, it's really hard sometimes to find people who can see beyond the numbers. That's actually what I'm gonna be looking for. Somebody that can see beyond the number, because yes, we can, like, doing the math, $1,200 per driver, 365 per restaurant. That's $7.6 billion. Plus, we even take 40% of that for customer acquisition and retention. That still leaves a lot of money, and that's not including my other verticals. I have 5 other verticals. So what we're really gonna do is change people's spending habits and the way to do business. I think that's
Okay.
under it. That's what the app is, and we can do this on any industry. So
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I definitely get it. All right, this is awesome. All right, so Gianni, go ahead and fill this out.
Okay.
Faster driver, you can put it in there. Faster drivers, and so I'll explain while Gianni's typing. Mauro, basically, what this is an export readiness diagnostic. Everyone in the program is completing this. There are 10 questions. The scale is 1 to 7. 1 is you strongly disagree with a statement, and 7 you strongly agree. And basically, we're going to be asking you questions about how ready your company is to expand abroad, both internally, organizationally speaking, and also like in terms of your knowledge of your target market, which in this case is Mexico. So just to be clear, the goal is not to impress us, Mauro. It's supposed to be like objective.
I'm not gonna impress you.
This is where I am, right?
Yeah, no, I know
and then
where I am.
obviously that helps Gianni too. Like,
Yeah.
this is where I can add value, right?
Yep.
Okay. So you're qualifying these statements from 1 to 7. The first one is our product, in this case your service, Our service has a proven track record in the domestic market, in this case, the United States. Like we've been growing, we have a growing domestic market share.
A
How
one.
would you classify faster drivers right now?
One.
Okay. You getting that, Gianni?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And then the second one is our company has sufficient production capacity to meet additional demand. So here it would more be like sufficient driver capacity, or like how, like you wouldn't, you don't have any
Yeah,
if you have any
one.
concerns about ramping up.
Yeah, one.
Okay. Our company is knowledgeable or experienced in international trade. So some of like the import docks, the export docks, the, you know,
One.
crossing borders and transportation.
One.
That's okay. Okay. So again, I know this is a service, but since you're moving goods, how knowledgeable do you feel you are of some of the regulations, for example, for fresh fruits and vegetables entering the Mexican market?
One.
Okay. So generally in exporting, Mauro, there's an investment required, right? And so the return is not always immediate. Like you might have to go to a trade show, or you have to create your marketing materials in different languages, or, you know, you have to, not this case, but, you know, usually you have to pay for some market research or something like that. How do you feel in terms of your financial resources in terms of supporting the international marketing strategy for your company? Do you feel like you have sufficient financial resources to support like an export
I wish I
push?
would have told me that taking this survey in the 6th, I would tell you more certainly, but right now it's got to be a one. I won't know until the 6th.
Okay. Oh, geez. Don't worry. We're going to do it at the end, Mauro. We're going to
Yeah.
do it at the end. And so
Yeah.
hopefully it's a very different profile at
Yeah.
the end. Okay. Great. Thank you for your honesty there. Do you have any follow-up questions, Gianni, for Mauro with those?
Sorry, let me just review the last one.
Like if there's any additional info that you want to share with us too, Mauro, about any of those specific statements.
No, there are mostly. I can tell you, we're gonna go through a lot of ones because I've only done this on the local scale, and
Okay.
done most of it just on the individual or family. So we've done a lot of like projections and like simulations in regards to what we have. Like I said, that's why we have trucks, we have cars, and we have people going back and forth to Tijuana. We'll be like, hey, you bring me this, or I send you that, da 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 da, da. And but to the scale and sophistication that's needed for what we want to do eventually, no, we have almost no experience whatsoever.
So I think a big part of this might be also, Gianni, with this one about the international regulations, is not just the products that Mauro's moving, but it's also the movement of the person in the vehicle, right?
Yes.
Like there's all kinds of regulations on cross-border shipping and cross-border freight, and, you know, how much is someone allowed to move or move across the border, and the vehicle and the insurance of the vehicle and the qualifications of the driver. My sense is that there's a lot more of that coming into the United States, especially now, but it's not free movement, right? For your drivers and everything. They're going to face barriers as well when it's
Yeah.
commercial.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's just in your notes, Gianni, make note that we have to research the regulatory issues of these are all like certified driver. Mauro, like what is the profile of your drivers?
So our drivers are usually people coming from other either delivery industries, other delivery companies, or logistics. I do have a lot of Amazon drivers who, after testing my app and then seeing the revenue, what they will be able to generate, plus the scalability, they're like, this is something we would definitely want to be part of. I've talked to a few like long distance, like the guy who has that, and he's the one that gave me the we talk about that sense of like the big trucks. But for the most part, like for our situation right now, our drivers just need to get a city license, which then the city does the vetting. So as long as they can get that, and then they get business bank account and the license insurance. That's all that's required from them for drivers.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. All right. So now these next ones are like more focused on how much you're familiar with international, Mexico specifically, right?
Okay.
So number 6, you've identified one or more high potential overseas markets for our product, your
One.
service. I mean. Okay, 1. I think what's going to be interesting here, it sounds like you already have the market, but
Yeah,
the data on which products and
exactly.
yeah, right. Okay, that's really where Gianni's going to be able to add a lot of value, I think. All right. So 7, you understand the cultural, legal, and economic environment of Mexico, like in terms of, in this case, importing into Mexico.
I'll say 2 on this one. I wouldn't say anything stronger than that. I'm Mexican. I'm around and hear all the dynamics of it, the costs and whatnot. But on the sophisticated scale that I need to implement it, no.
Okay. And everything you've been doing cross-border so far, Mauro, has been like more of like smaller scale, not
Yeah, like local, very controlled. Because one of the things that our technology is not able to do is do like huge scale. So right now we're trying to just use legacy customers, drivers, and restaurants to use our app and gather the data. But yeah, it's not really fully developed yet.
okay. And then that brings up a whole other issue now that you're talking about the like functionality of the app. Like in terms of you haven't dealt yet with, you have dealt with or you haven't with like international payments?
Oh no international payments.
Not yet, but you would in the future.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. So international payments and like
I work with Stripe for that too, so that would be a great way to kind of they do that too. So it would be great to learn about that. They can help me implement it though, so that's like I can do that.
Okay. All right. All right, let's see. 8, we've researched the competitive landscape in the foreign market we're targeting. So like, do you know how Mexico is already getting these products, like the other ways they get these products,
No,
basically?
I mean I know I'm very high level, very rough draft, but nothing in detail. So 1.
So this is part of Gianni's research, Maura. I understand that your app is very different, like, but part of it is to look at, who else is bringing these products to market? Who are what are the companies they're using? What does their pricing look like? So when you say it's, 40% cheaper or whatever, like you can have some data to back it up about, how is your value proposition more attractive? Okay. All right. This is where I was kind of getting at with the app issue. We have a strategy for adapting our product and pricing. So I'm going to guess, Mauro, that if you were to really target Mexican buyers, this would require quite a bit of adaptations to your app, right? Like language, pricing.
Yes, but as long as I have somebody who's knowledgeable in the economics of Mexico and help me translate, like correlate, it's actually kind of simple.
Right.
The
Okay.
software allows us to kind of see both sides of the requirements and connect them by finding those the requirements and connecting them. It's a lot more. That side is better. Once I get experts who know what they're doing uh, and help me implement them, it's gonna be easier.
Okay. So yeah. So
That's
so
seven.
how did you? So are you like how would you classify yourself there in terms of like this is like adaptation of the app?
Adaptation
including
7.
pricing? Okay.
We can adapt almost to anything.
Okay. And then I'm going to ask a follow-up question. I still want to make sure I understand with the pricing part. I get it that the buyer and the seller are paying a membership fee, but then it's a flat fee for each transaction, which they're paying up front. Is that right, Mauro?
So the membership is paid up front. Now the cost of the delivery fee is $5 for food right now. I would have to adjust it to what we're gonna be delivering, but
Right.
the end user is the one that pays for the product and the service.
Okay. Okay. So this is end user. pays for the product, flat fee. And so here's one thing that I was wondering, Mauro, because I mean, I think one difference I've seen in Mexico is just payment terms are longer in Mexico than they might be here sometimes here in the US. And so, I'm assuming that you're expecting this payment up front on the app, right? Like the delivery doesn't happen until it's paid in full
Yeah.
beforehand, correct?
Yeah.
So that may not be, I don't know, Mauro, I'm not an expert in the industry,
I
but
can
I'm not
adjust.
sure how it often is here in the United States or what is customary in Mexico. So I think that's kind of what's I think helpful for Gianni to look at too. Like you obviously need this money up front, and that's built into the app. But how generally do these, for example, if it's an association of restaurants or if it's an importer of food, what if they're not paying up front right now? What if they're paying 50% and 50% upon delivery or something like that? I don't know, Mao. So I'm just wondering like how it could be different. And that doesn't sound like your app wouldn't be able to adapt to that if you wanted to adapt it. But
To take partial payments. Well,
yeah,
and we
I
can.
don't know, but I feel like that's part of what his research should look at
Yeah.
because those terms are different in different countries, and you might have to
And
adapt
depending
a
on the
little bit.
size of the load and whatnot.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
for the most part, like I'm not envisioning right off the bat like truckloads, 18-wheelers, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
do see at least F-150. I don't know how many hundreds of pounds that might be. So um, one of the things that we're gonna try to do is, especially, we're very cash rich once we get going, because we take that membership up front from the restaurants and the drivers, the customers paying for the service and the food. So there's very little money that really leaves our system either through rewards or coupons. So being able to utilize this money, I'm just thinking right now off the top of my head is to fight some of the issue that the distributors face when they have to pay upfront and they have to pay behind. Once we get going, we will have the ability to adjust depending on what the research says and what our traction gets going. Because I don't understand what like the whole complexity of it, but it sounds like that's some that's friction right there in the industry before we come in that could help us uh, differentiate ourselves even more.
Okay. Wow, so many different aspects to look at. This is fascinating. Great learning opportunity.
Oh,
Okay,
Sauce
and
does
then
that. Sauce does a lot. So
yeah. All right. So this last question we kind of already looked at, but you've identified potential buyers in Mexico.
I've made contact with a few, but not. I haven't set terms or anything. They just said, "Oh, if you can give us this type of fruit or this type of flowers too." I don't know. Flowers are very important
Oh, right,
to
right.
Mexico. Yeah, especially during the holiday seasons, depending. So, I would definitely benefit from like learning more. Uh, and in this case, I have the resources. If I can get in touch with Gianni and tell him, "Hey, I got this person. Can you do some background, or do they fit the profile?" Or you guys tell me what the distribution channels are, then I can start to look for them myself too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, if you have any in mind, that would be great. I think he's going to identify as part of his research, like what he views as like what I think first is those products, right? Like what are those top products, and then some identify potential channels for those products, and then we can maybe touch base again, Mauro, to confirm that. That would be great.
Yeah.
So where do you think like a low number here, like somewhere or
Yeah,
in this one?
definitely a low number. I'm not really sure what it would be because I mean, again, all the products are so different. You're right about focusing on five. As soon as we focus on five, I can probably give a little more details. But um, for the distribution channels, definitely a one or two, maybe tops.
Okay. All right.
Just for reference, I know you said you talked to potential buyers about fruits and flowers. Do you remember what those products were, to be exact?
Dragon fruit and what was the other one? It was a type of pear. Like it was they grew a pear up here. The prickly pear from the cactus.
Oh, mhm.
In Mexico, we love that. Nopales too. I mean, if California, if I think we have avocado orchards around here too. That is always on high demand. I know avocado, chilies, uh, flowers, and certain fruits are gonna be we're gonna be able to export very well.
Okay, that's awesome. Great. This is so helpful, Mauro. That's all the questions I have. I'm sure that as we plow away, though, from the next couple of weeks, there's going to be like technical questions that arise. So my petition of all of the junior consultants is that just that they keep me that they can reach out to you if they have a technical question, or they just need to confirm something like, okay, explain to me again Mauro, about the business model, like just to make sure this
Please
is valuable.
ask questions, please, because actually it's gonna help me fine tune my pitch, and even right now, some of the things that you said that I wasn't thinking about in Spanish. You guys speak both of you speak Spanish. Said me dan cuerda. So I might not have the answer at the moment, but you post a question and like because the system, I don't know how to say it, but I thought I found silver and I found platinum. So it's the same thing. If you guys give me a question, you guys wind me up and I can actually come up with the solution and then I can write it
Great.
down even more details. So yeah, ask away, please. Don't
Okay,
hesitate.
awesome. Yeah, I would just have Gianni, I always will have him like CC me on any communication, just so I know like what's kind of going back and forth. But I would say he's basically going to be working independently, Mauro, but I think he will be reaching out in the next, week or two, only specifically to confirm those products. So he's going to give you the data for those, but ultimately, if you want to say like you're like, okay, I see those, Gianni, but like I really want to do whatever, almonds or something like that. That's fine, Mauro.
Yeah.
That's fine. We want to make sure you at least have the data, which we should have it at the state level. I'm gonna have to see exactly how. I know we have it at like the national level between Mexico and the U.S., but I want to be. It's gonna be much more helpful for you at the California level, right? Like,
Yeah.
what are we moving? I'm pretty sure we have that too, but that's going to be a different database. We got to look for that one.
Yeah.
And then we'll confirm that with you, Mauro, because a lot of the research is going to be focused on those products and then buyers of those products. So we want to make sure we're in agreement with the products before he does the rest of the project. Okay.
Okay, and I actually have the prototype out, and I can send you guys a copy of it, and I can upload the orchards or the farms that want to do this, so we can start getting an idea how it looks. I have a few individuals. Well, you guys probably can help me out. Software that's available worldwide, is available worldwide, right? So if somebody downloads my app in Mexico on their phone, it's gonna function in U.S. standard, right? It's gonna function the way it's set up, right?
It should, but that's specifically like what he would be looking at, Gianni would be looking at, including stuff like, the laws of privacy are different in every country,
Every
right?
country, yeah.
Like that kind of stuff. So, I mean, generally, yes, but it's not quite as seamless. So
Yeah, I
he
know.
would, if there's any technical issues, as well as like any, regulatory things that might need required adaptation.
I'm so glad I have a website too. So even though I have an app and that's where 90% of our activity is gonna happen, we do have a web-based portal. So it comes to a point that either through mobile we cannot, or on that side they cannot
They can use
process. They can use our website. No problem.
Awesome. Yeah, and Gianni has that information as well. Fantastic. Mona, it was really great speaking
Thank
with
you.
you.
Thank you
Love
so much.
learning more about your business.
Yes.
I really appreciate this opportunity. And then we'll be in touch. And Gianni, are there any other burning questions that we need to ask Mauro?
Not at the moment, but I will be in contact. I just want to say it was a pleasure to meet you finally.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to working on this project.
Thank you.
Greatly relates to what we're learning in our.
Awesome. I'm gonna
It
push it.
literally like what we were learning 2 weeks ago in class, Mauro. So that's helpful.
I will say this. I think outside of the box, way outside of the box. Like, I'll tell you that one of the things that if I do execute correctly and I go like all the way, we'll be able to create a paperless economy where people pay full price for products, create better paying jobs, and really learns what purchasing power is. And that would be our the way we do business from now on. It's that powerful. And I don't know if you guys use ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure you guys do. I see how I can get some files that, because talking to my ChatGPT is probably the best way to learn more about me, because it fills in the technical or the gaps that you guys might be looking for from your perspective. So if there's any opportunity to get together, or I figure out how to do that remotely, um, the ChatGPT is probably going to be a great way to put all even things even more together. It makes sense.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah, awesome, Mauro. It was
All
so
right.
great to meet you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Hey, yeah, thank you so much. I'll be looking
Take
forward to your
care. And
follow up.
all right. Bye
Bye.
bye. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah,
Bye.
looking forward.